Brace the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an Enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
What is Cafe Mocha? Cafe Mocha is experts, celebrities.
What's up? This is Belle Biv DeVoe.
Yours truly, Idris Elba.
This is Fantasia.
This is In Vogue.
This is India Ari.
So much more. All from a woman's perspective.
What flavor are you, baby?
This is Cafe Mocha.
This is Cafe Mocha with comedian Loni Love. Hip-hop diva Yo-Yo, I'm Angelique, the producer. If you love musicals, the star of MJ the Musical has a new show. Plus, did you know the Harlem Globetrotters have women on the team now? We're talking to one of them coming up on Cafe Mocha. And, man, in L.A., Rihanna's house her gate.
You know, can I read the story? Thank you. See, Yo-Yo, you see what I got put up with? A Florida woman used an AR-15 style weapon in attack on Rihanna's mansion. It's a 35-year-old woman. She fired approximately 10 shots at Rihanna's Beverly Hills mansion. She was actually there, Rihanna was. She also lives there with her fiance, A$AP Rocky, and 3 young children. No injuries were reported. The suspect was arrested at the scene, and she's currently being held on like a $10 million bond. And that's a scary situation. And it's reports going around that this woman, she was putting up very disturbing posts about Rihanna. So there is something mentally happening with her.
Well, we know that. Nobody shows up from Florida with a AK, AR, or any machine gun type weapon and starts shooting up somebody's fence. /house.
I mean, but I mean, when we talk about that, you know, it being a celebrity, this is one of the downsides of being an actual celebrity is when you get this type of situation to happen. From what I'm reading is that, you know, nobody even knows Rihanna doesn't even know who she is. Right. And you know, this has happened to her, and they, like I said, they did take her into custody. Her name allegedly is Ivana Lizette Ortiz, 35 years old. She apparently posted a bizarre message addressing the singer just weeks before. It was a February 23rd Facebook post from Ortiz's account. It read, @BadGirl, that's Rihanna's handle. Are you there? Because I was waiting for your AIDS 5-head self to say something to me directly instead of sneaking around like you talking to me where I'm not at, unquote. In another post, she allegedly shared an eerie video mentioning Cardi B, and dressed in what appears to be a blonde wig and in American sports shorts, Ortiz records herself speaking in a mirror saying, "You can't blank with me, Cardi B. You supposedly busy right now, but know who has the cutest outfit tonight. You know who's the cutest tonight. I am," unquote. So this is evidently, this is some mental illness. And yes, Angelique,
all I want to say is, you know, somebody in her family, some of her friends saw these posts, and what? It was just like, you know, oh, she's just being silly.
Yeah, but what happens is a lot of times too in mental illness, you can start thinking that you're this person's actual friend.
Oh,
and
sure,
it gets you get delusional, and so then if they're not responding to you, then you get emotional about that, and then before you know it, you're going through these mental issues.
But my question is always, where's her friends? Where's her family? Where are her people? You know what I'm saying? I mean, we all have family members who, and my family has to stop me all the time. You know what I mean?
But you know what? Everybody don't have family and friends like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And evidently, this woman doesn't, and that's why her butt is in jail.
Yeah.
You know. But unless somebody bails her out, I don't know who could bail her out with a $10 million bond. But unless somebody bails her out, which if somebody does bail her out, then that also leads to a questions allegedly that who's bailing somebody out that's doing stuff like this. Right. So, it's just. Have you ever had like a stalker or somebody, Yo-Yo?
I did have a stalker coming up, and everywhere I would show up, he would pop up. But you know what? I just used my wits. I befriended him. He would bring me gifts for my kids. He would bring me books. He knew my kids' names. Well, I only had Tiffany at the time. He knew my daughter's name. And I just started talking to him like, what are you up to? Like when I see him, instead of being spooked, because he would spook me. I just started talking to him like, yo, what are you doing? I was like, yo, you are so smart. You should really go back to school. Let me tell you, he went back to school. Yeah, I just had to befriend him, but because he would spook the hell out of me. And recently I saw him at a bank, and I was going to turn around, and I just said, hey, how are you?
So you befriended him, and he didn't want
nothing.
So
Yo-Yo. That's so Yo-Yo. So sweet. You know
what? It was the spook. It was the spook. It was the knowing my kids' names. It was the showing up everywhere. It was the fact that I knew he had a mental illness. I knew that he wasn't all the way there.
Yeah, but that's still dangerous.
I'm telling you, I saw him recently in the bank. Should I turn around? And I just went on in. I just said, hey, how are you?
How you not about my
You know what? It's getting spooky because you know what? People really have trouble. This mental illness situation has really taken off. And the family dynamic that we are so used to growing up with, where grandma can get a hold to you or someone can get a hold to you and
the neighbor.
Someone can. Everybody's running rapid. It's just a dog-eat-dog world out here. So those who know they're off, now they're just putting their off on these celebrities. This social media has them running wild. Now they see it on their phones. Everybody has phones. And they're just making you their new attraction.
That's why I don't answer people. Like, if somebody say something crazy, and I get a lot of crazies, I don't answer them.
Yeah.
I block. And even the ones that seem like they're friendly, I don't know these people. So I can't, you know what I mean? I have other people looking at my social media for me at times, but I just can't, because you can't trust people. If you don't know them, if you don't see them in the flesh, it's really, really hard. So
on the way, Myles Frost blew up playing Michael Jackson in MJ the Musical. He's up next to talk about his new show, Chezy Joey.
Standing in solidarity from a woman's perspective. It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha. Cafe Mocha with conversations for the cultured. And on the line, this young man, in 2022, he won a Tony Award for lead actor, starring as Michael Jackson in MJ the Musical on Broadway. He became the youngest solo actor to win a Tony in his category. And he's all grown up now. Please welcome the first time Cafe Mocha, Myles Frost. Hello, Myles.
How you doing?
Oh, I haven't seen you since we were in London. When you were doing MJ in London, darling.
What a time. And your London accent is beautiful. It's perfect.
It was great, But let's start with MJ on Broadway. Take us back to getting the call that got you the job.
Yes. So it was the morning of my sister's birthday, May 27th, 2021. And, around this time, I decided to start taking acting classes. I wanted to get better, sharpen my talent and everything like that. And my acting coach saw some videos, and so did some of the producers saw videos of me dancing and doing Billie Jean on YouTube back in high school. And they were wondering if I could do Billie Jean now that I'm older, if I could send a video of me doing that again. And it was a really quick turnaround time. I only had a day to kind of revisit all the Michael material, Michael stuff that I had taught myself and everything like that. I was able to send off a video. They liked it. They sent like an actual script, or like some sides, and I think 4 songs that they wanted me to sing. And I sent that video in, and they said, "Do you want to come out? We want to invite you to an in-person audition." Because this was also during COVID, so people weren't supposed to be doing in-person auditions. But you can't. I feel like you can't cast somebody to do Michael and not do an in-person audition. You got to see it. You got to feel the energy, So I went out to New York, and it was a 2-day process. The first day we learned, I learned actual Billie Jean choreo from the show. And I ended up having like a really bad allergic reaction. I broke out in hives and had to leave the session early. And I went back to the hotel, took a bunch of Benadryl, went to sleep, woke up the next day. I woke up with 30 minutes before my audition, because that Benadryl just took me out. And I went to the audition, and I did my best. My mentality is, look, I may not be exactly what you're looking for, but at the very least, I'm gonna make it super, super hard for whoever has to come after me, after my audition. And I did that. About a week later, I got a call from the producer. From the director and assistant director to do a Zoom call. And we ran over some scene work. And at the end of that call, they said, "Hey, we want to offer you the role of MJ, like as the lead." And I was speechless. They said, "You don't have to answer right now." And they said, "But think about it." I'm like, of course. And my mom was at work, and I couldn't reach her at the time, but my sister was home. So I ran in my sister's room. I was like, "Morgan, I got it." And then, after the initial adrenaline came down, I started thinking to myself, I'm 21, being asked to play Michael in his 30s. Will people believe me? I have a lot of work to do between now and when people are going to start seeing me. It's not like I've been doing Michael all my life. I'm like Michael in the sense where I pull from so many different artists that I look up to, from all different generations, and then try to mash it all together to decide who Myles is and what his style is. But I did it.
Yeah, did y'all see him on Broadway?
Thank you.
Well, that whole play, did you have any input in the play? What was the process? How long did it take for you to kind of get into, because not only did you dance phenomenal, but you also acted as well. So how long, what was that process like? What did it take?
Yeah, no, I'm always a student. That's the mentality that I carry, and especially back then, any space I walk into, I'm happy to be there. But especially back then, I had nothing to my name really, and this was my debut in so many different ways. My first theater debut since high school, my first Broadway debuts. It was just a lot. It was very new. It's just I stepped into an upper echelon of what theater is, and I was just happy to be there. I was just happy to be there. I made it a point to say, if this is going to make or break my career, not only am I going to do this successfully, but I'm going to do it so exceptionally well that I don't have to. My family doesn't have to worry about anything anymore. Like that's the mentality that I had. I said, I don't know how any of this stuff works. I'm new to theater, I'm new to Broadway, but that's what I know I want, out of this. And I'll do whatever I need to do. So Rich and Tone Talawega, shout out to them. They danced with Michael from the history tour up until Michael passed. They taught me everything I know, about Michael's intention and why he does the things that he does, the shapes and the silhouettes, and how important it is. And I just danced. I got home after a show and I just danced and I just studied and I, listened to Michael's inflections. When he crosses his legs, does he put his right hand over his left hand or left hand over his right hand? It's just so many things. I just wanted, Michael's fans, Michael's family, and Michael's friends to be able to really enjoy this. And, that's God answered my prayers and more. Well, if we're still talking about Broadway, I didn't know anything. in my mind, especially because I was a lot younger, I thought I could get through that whole contract without needing physical therapy.
Ooh.
Just letting you know where my mind was.
Okay.
Without physical therapy, without needing to see a doctor for some injury or whatever, I was like, I'm gonna breeze through this. I'm gonna give every show 120%. And a week after opening, I fractured my right metatarsal. My second metatarsal on my right foot.
Oh wow.
I was out for 3.5 weeks.
Yo, you got a question? I want to ask you, because it was a phenomenal hit play, and then you get the Tony nomination. What was that feeling like to know that you made history? And then what was that whole process like when you were, at the actual Tony Awards? What was going through your head?
To be completely honest, MJ was kind of, for lack of a better term, kind of blackballed when it came to media around that time. We didn't get it was very hard for us to get press and get interviews, and, no late night shows would accept us because of Michael's allegations. That's why, we didn't do a Tiny Desk. We didn't do Macy's Day Parade. There was a lot of things that we, didn't get an opportunity to do for quote unquote, whatever reason. But we know what it is, at least I feel like I know what it is. And it was Michael's history, it's Michael's past. And, what people are still trying to put on Michael, all this craziness that's distracting us from the real stuff that's going on in this world and in this country. So when they announced that the Tonys was going to be televised this year, or that particular year, the only thing I can think about was this has to be the best performance I've ever done in my entire life, because I'm representing all the people that are on this stage that have nothing to do with any type of allegations, which I wholeheartedly believe are false. And he's already been acquitted. But our show is so much more than that, in the sense where the artists on this stage are artists, and people need to see the art of it. Regardless of how you feel about Michael, whether you love him or don't, it's like, this is an opportunity to show the world how much beautiful art we have on the stage, and beautiful Black people and Black art we have on the stage, also written by a Black woman, And so Tony's came around. I wasn't even thinking about winning no Tony. I was just, number one, happy to be there, and two, just saying, look, this is going to be the best performance I ever done in my life. And
I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, especially now when people are trying to shade like the live arts, Timothy Chalamet. Anyway, it's just,
I was talking about that yesterday.
It's like, to see you win that. And I've seen you perform in London. I've seen you perform like 3 times on Broadway. And it's like, literally, your precision about Michael is so, like, you literally take us back to that time, and you feel empathy, which is very hard as a performer, to get the audience to feel that empathy. Did you get any reaction from Michael's family?
Absolutely. Tito, Jackie, and Marlon all came at the same time. Rest in peace, Tito. And there's a part in the show, where Michael kind of disguises himself. And Jackie was telling the story about how he was in LA. He was just, he was walking in LA with a friend. And he sees this guy pass. And he's like, I think that's Michael. And then he turns around and says, Michael. And Michael turns around and goes, Jackie. And he also said, Marlon leaned over to him and was like, that boy good during the show when they were watching it. So I've only gotten amazing responses. Prince, his son, that's my brother. When we spoke after one of the earlier previews, he mentioned how, my approach, and I have so much respect for all the Michael impersonators out there. There's a lot of them do what they do to take care of their families, and take care of their families, and also do it just out of love of Michael and just keeping his legacy alive. So I always praise them, but that's not the approach that I wanted to take with MJ. I wanted to really feel like, when you close your eyes, like he was in the space and his energy was there. When you watch it, you get that same excitement as if you had been to a Michael concert, or at least I wanted to get it as close to that as I possibly could, and I wanted to be an actor, because I feel like in order to do that, I have to be it. It has to manifest. It has to ooze out of me. It's not it's not just about the appearance of it. Because yes, I had the wig and things of that nature, but I'm like, I'm not making my skin or my face any shades lighter because I don't want to. And I feel like if I need to do that to try to further sell what I feel like I can do naturally, just in the spirit of, then I'm not doing that. And if I have to do that, then I'm not the right person, because I want the right person to come in and do this the right way.
Well, you did it the right way, exactly. Is there a favorite part of that musical that you just loved performing?
Yes. I have two that are fighting for first place. The first one is Billie Jean, because it's just so iconic, and sorry, this is a tad bit of a spoiler for anybody that hasn't seen the show, but it's been out for years, so y'all need to go out and see it if you ain't seen it.
Okay.
But we don't do a lot of the original choreo in that show, primarily because we're in a rehearsal space. So the idea of it, which I praise Chris Wilden, our director, he wanted to make it feel like a new experience, as opposed to you coming to see stuff that you've seen Michael do over and over and over and over and over again, and you're just critiquing that as opposed to taking in the story. So us not doing the original choreo kind of offsets the person who came with that intent and makes them kind of pay attention and absorb everything all at once. But yeah, I would say Billie Jean, because that's the one number that we keep organic and we keep by the book. We may mix different versions from different tours, but the mechanics of it are by the book. And a lot of people don't know, during intermission I was in my room for like 5 minutes, and then I spent the rest of that on on the stage behind the curtain practicing Billie Jean, because that's how we opened the session.
Wow.
I never
that was my favorite one, and also of course the Thriller.
Yes.
That Thriller, the way it goes,
it's so much.
It's just awesome. It's just an awesome play. Like, if people haven't seen it, it's still on the road, the musical, it would be great. Now, the question I also want to ask you is just like what Leslie is doing with Hamilton. Would you come back to the musical?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I'm leaning more to no, just for the simple fact that I'm so ready to see what other things I have to offer. That was the thing that came from doing Michael so young and starting that process so young, and then being so successful with that process is, when I finished initially, I was fighting the mentality of saying, especially after not hearing back from certain auditions that I did do during that time right afterwards. I'm like, I was like, is MJ all I have to offer? Is this just the one thing that I'm really, really good at, and I have to be attached to it for the rest of my life, because I can't actually make something else have the impact that I had with MJ, for a different project. Am I not capable of that? And I wanted to prove to myself that I am capable of that. And not to jump ahead, but I feel like Chezy Joey does that for me. So
we're talking to actor, singer, dancer Myles Frost. His new musical is called Chezy Joey. It's playing at the Arena Stage in DC until March 22nd. This is Cafe Mocha.
We're at Cafe Mocha Radio. Socially savvy on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Serving up more Cafe Mocha on the way.
UNITY, that's a unity.
It's Cafe Mocha.
It's Cafe Mocha. The Harlem Globetrotters are celebrating 100 years of basketball magic. They've been on tour forever, and they've come a long way since when we were kids.
Okay.
Little Lark, Lemon, and Curly. There were no women on the team, but now we have plenty of ladies on the team, and one of them is right here with us, Ace Porter. Welcome to Cafe Mocha.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor.
Now, Ace, when did they start having women on the Globetrotters? Do you remember?
Yes, absolutely. So the first woman was actually Lynette Woodard, and she came on the team in 1985. Like she played at Kansas. She was a straight dog, and she's just representing for the ladies. So yeah, she was the first.
Oh wow! And now they call you Ace. Why do they call you Ace?
I think, and personally, I think it's because, like, if you play cards, I don't know if y'all play, like, spades or anything. It's my favorite card game. But I feel like it's just having that ace up your sleeve. Like, I feel like I'm just one of one. And whenever they were ready to, like, whip me out, like, I'm a shine regardless. So it's kind of like an ace up your sleeve type reference for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like that. So, when did you realize that that you were good at this? Because every parent thinks their kid's the best basketball player or gymnast or whatever. When did you and your family realize, oh my gosh, we got something special here?
I'm weak. It's crazy because I actually started playing basketball when I was 6 years old. And it's crazy because my dad took me to a park. He tried to, teach me how to, like, shoot the ball in the hoop, and he just couldn't do it. And he's like, okay, you get the idea. Just shoot the ball in the hoop. He got all frustrated. So the first basket that I shot, it went straight in. And then he was, like, a little jealous. But I think that moment, I kind of just fell in love with the game. My mom was a dancer, a cheerleader. My dad played football, so nobody in my family really played basketball. So I don't know where it came from, but it's just somewhere in my blood. But I love it so much. Took me around the world, and yeah, played professionally for a month before I ended up coming on the team. So yeah, kind of just born with it. Found me, if anything.
That's great.
Now let's talk about the history of the Globetrotters and how they started, and what's your best trick shot?
Yes, absolutely. So my personal trick shot that I love is I stand half court and I shoot it backwards. I have many videos doing it. It took so much practice. I'm sure I would love to show you guys one day, but yeah, that's my favorite. But I'm starting to widen my palette. We have the famous hook shot, and you have the granny shot as well from beyond the half court as well. So, but yeah, my personal favorite, half court, behind the back for sure.
Wow. Okay, so do you have, because you got to have strength to be able to shoot that far. I mean, do you do weights? What do you do to strengthen and get that shot all the way?
Absolutely. I think it's more just practice of anything. Like I'm a little feeble. That don't mean anything, but it's the heart that matters. But I think just mainly the technique. Definitely more legs and more arch of anything. It's like shooting a basketball forward, but you just turn around and you just shoot it backwards with the same technique.
Now, did you have to audition, or how did you get on the Globetrotters?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I played in Mexico for like a month. Afterwards, I wanted to try out for the WNBA. But before then, I kind of got a call from the Globetrotters, and they told me that they like my personality. They loved the way that I handled the ball, because at the time I loved posting my basketball content online. But yeah, they saw my personality. They saw how well and how many ankles I'd be snatching up on these dudes, and they just invited me to a tryout.
That's funny. One of the things that I love about women being on this team is that here in America, I don't know where else, what they do, but here it's boys team and girls team, no matter what, unless it's like couple skating or something like that. And I feel like that is kind of an important message. When you're around the kids and you guys are hooping and it's the boys and the girls, what sort of feedback do you get from them?
Oh my gosh.
Or do they even notice?
Right. No, but the feedback is always refreshing, because I know in the airport, I'd be like, oh, who do you wear or who do you play for? I say the Harlem Globetrotters. I'm like, oh, are you on the media team? I'm like, no, I'm on the team. I play with the dudes. And they get so shocked from that. And it's women can hoop just as well as men, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I think the best thing about it is we're represented for the ladies, and we're showing we can do anything anybody else can do. We can do anything the men can do, maybe a little better. Look, you never know. But I think the feedback from it, just it catches a lot of people off guard. But positive feedback for sure. Positive feedback.
Now, you guys go from city to city in front of thousands of people. And have you adjusted to all that traveling? And do you get time to yourself or what?
Yeah. So, we travel to 200 plus cities domestically and like 150 cities internationally. But at first it was hard to adjust, because before this I worked for the Spurs. I still do, but I was also a teacher as well. So just the switch up of living out of a suitcase now and going back to city to city, and being able to put on a show and put on a smile for so many people is definitely a shift. But yeah, it was the first year was all about adjusting. But now I'm so used to it. I definitely get time for myself. Sometimes before the game, we love to go see the city and see what they have to offer, their perspective, and see how they do things, which is a small perk that I never got to do, because financially before this. But now it's my job, and I definitely take advantage of it. But yeah, a lot of time to myself, and just grateful for the moment for sure.
It's Cafe Mocha. We're talking to Harlem Globetrotter Ace Porter. And I just want to bring up that in March and in April, before they go, overseas or someplace other than here, they're going to be in Georgia. They're going to be Raleigh, Charlotte, Greensboro, Virginia, Texas. So go to harlemglobetrotters.com and get those tickets. Make sure you take your kids. Make sure you take all the basketball fans and go out. I've been in so long. I want to go when you guys come to LA.
Please. Please. We would love to have you.
Now, how do you handle your work-life balance, Ace? And how do you think you're going to adjust to that?
Oh, my work-life balance?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. I think for sure. I mean, I know my mom, she hates when I go and but she knows the purpose that I'm doing, just the impact that I have and we have. But yeah, me and my mom were like this. So for me to be gone for so many months, thank God for FaceTime, right? Because she probably would have a fit, but I FaceTime her every day. I still keep those, our relationship high on end, call my dad, call my sister. We always talk every day. And of course, at work. But it's good because they understand the purpose that I have and, what I have to do. At the end of the day, it is a job. Spreading joy all over the world any way that we can. But the work balance, it's 50-50, and the adjustment was good. It wasn't rough or anything. So, yes, for sure.
It's always Women's History Month here on Cafe Mocha, and coming soon to the show, Karen White is back. She's reclaimed her power and has a new interpretation of her hit song, I'm Not Your Superwoman. Karen White coming soon to Cafe Mocha.
Here's your dose of espresso. Strong, hot news now.
This is the Espresso. Reverend Al Sharpton was saying everything we needed to hear at Jesse Jackson's funeral.
And there was a breakout in 2024 called Negro Amnesia, where you forgot where you came from and forgot how you got where you got. Therefore, they're trying to take back everything you have. What happened to black and proud? What happened, I'm gonna vote? What happened, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around? What happened to us?
And there's been nothing but controversy and craziness ever since Jasmine Crockett lost her race for the Texas Senate. At this point, it seems her biggest concerns are making sure a Democrat wins that Senate seat and the problems at the polls.
We received your phone calls about all of the confusion and the many people that just didn't get to vote. We have to fix this. We should not have people being disenfranchised in 2026.
That's the Espresso.
UNITY, UNITY, that's a unity.
It's Cafe Mocha.
Cafe Mocha with Emmy Award-winning talk show host and comedian Loni Love, hip-hop diva and TV chef Yo-Yo. I'm Angelique, producer and journalist. We're talking to Ace Porter. She's one of the Harlem Globetrotters. Let's get back into it. You know, I always got to get personal. Money. You know, the WNBA has been crying and screaming about, you know, how little money they get paid. And of course, women in general get paid less than men, but it's so blatant in sports. And I wonder, you getting paid more with the Harlem Globetrotters? No, that's not the question I want to ask. The question that I want to ask is your thoughts.
She's so nosy.
Your thoughts. I really want to know if you're getting paid more, but that's not the question I'm going to ask. If you want to answer that question, it's fine. But I just wondered your thoughts looking at female professional athletes in this big issue of, you know, not getting the money, filling the seats, but not getting the money.
I know, and I feel like it's been definitely a struggle from years. Like I grew up watching like Becky Hammond, and when I worked for the Silver Stars then, but now they're the Aces. Like I know it's always been an issue, but I think the good thing about now is we have so many advocates, and especially the NBA players saying like, you know, we're just as important and we hoop just as good as they do, you know. And I feel like that it's going to be evolving sooner or later, like day after day. You know, I think just one person, like, well, if we can get to one person to higher up whatever authority that we need to get to, I think the future is bright for sure, because people are going to realize like, oh, like the girls ain't playing. Like we came here to do some work, you know. But I think it's just all about evolution. It is what it is, but I think people seeing us love being competitive and love putting on a show, and you know, we come in here, put out a show, we're bright, you know, and we have so much to give. So the future is bright for sure. So, you know, I'm not tripping. I'm in the moment, you know.
Sure. Want a little more of our flavor? Stay right there. It's Cafe Mocha.
Cafe Mocha with comedian Loni Love, hip-hop diva Yo-Yo. I'm Angelique, the producer. We're talking to Globetrotter Ace Porter. Let's get back to it.
What do you want to say to that little girl out there that, you know, maybe has a dream and, you know, she needs some encouragement? What do you say to that baby?
Oh my gosh. I definitely would say just keep working hard. You can do anything you put your mind to as long as you believe in yourself. I know there was time when I was little and I thought I was too small, and because I'm female, I can't do this and get into these places. But look at me here now. I'm big on faith, so definitely kept the faith, definitely kept working hard, and the end result will always be in your favor as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do. So just keep believing in yourself and keep working hard. I think that's the main thing for sure.
Thank
Ace
you.
Porter. That's so cute. She's so. We can't wait to come see you. When you guys come to LA, we're gonna be on the front row. I'm gonna bring Angelique. That'll be her only date she ever had.
Yay. I love that so much.
Thank you so much, Ace Porter. Harlem Globetrotters. You know, guys, catch them. They're touring all over the United States. And what is the website, Angelique?
HarlemGlobetrotters.com, right?
Yep, that's it.
Tickets.
And how can we keep up with you, Miss Ace? Do you have a social media?
Yes, ma'am. On Instagram, it's You Need Joy for real, or FR. And I mean that's the main platform. Also on TikTok is Everybody Loves _Joy.
Thank you so much. We can't wait to see you play, sis.
I cannot wait for you guys to come and shoot on the court. I'm bringing on there and take a shot.
Okay.
Sure.
Just go on and embarrass us, Ace. Just go ahead.
Nope.
Take care, sis.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cafe Mocha's got some exciting news coming soon. The unofficial announcement is that we just started doing the show on camera, so Loni got to do her hair now. And we've got an online shopping experience called the Cafe Mocha Chic Boutique. The official details coming soon. That's the show. Make sure you find us on the socials at Cafe Mocha Radio. Cafe Mocha is a production of Miles Ahead Broadcasting in partnership with Super Radio. Executive producer Sheila Eldridge. For comments, booking, or more information, visit cafemocharadio.com.